is that nobody else can carry the aura Roman possesses at this stage of his career. CM Punk is a beloved legend, but he remains an anomaly, a man who thrives in chaos but has never sustained control. Seth Rollins is a modern-day workhorse and a fan favorite, but he lacks the edge of mythology that Roman's character embodies. Roman is not just a champion, he's a figurehead, a living symbol of WWE's shift towards cinematic storytelling. He's the face of a wrestling dynasty that's gone far beyond just holding a title. It's become about control, fear, loyalty, and betrayal. To have that symbol collapse without completing its cycle would be like cutting The Godfather off midway through the second act. The story isn't done. It hasn't climaxed. It hasn't detonated in full. Roman's win is necessary to reach the true peak of that descent. From a business standpoint, WrestleMania main events featuring Reigns have consistently delivered in box office metrics, whether it's live gate numbers, merchandise, or digital viewership. Removing him from that pedestal while he still commands the top spot would be sacrificing future profits and stability. WWE, especially in the TKO era, isn't just driven by fan sentiment. It's built on business logic. Roman, with Heyman behind him, or even against him, still generates unmatched interest. WrestleMania 41 is not the right time to gamble on change, when consistency still pays off. There's also the unfinished business between Roman and his bloodline. Jey Uso's story hasn't come full circle. Jimmy's betrayal and Solo's loyalty are unresolved threads. If Roman loses now, there's no incentive to explore those narratives with full emotional weight. Roman needs to retain so that the eventual implosion of the bloodline hits as hard as it's supposed to. A loss now weakens the stakes for future confrontations, but a victory, especially in the face of betrayal by Paul Heyman, elevates Roman into a new phase. A king betrayed but unbroken. A tyrant whose kingdom refuses to fall. Punk and Rollins don't need the win the way Roman does. Punk's return has already achieved cultural immortality. The pop in Chicago, the shock at Survivor Series, the promos, the feuds, it all cemented his legacy. A loss at WrestleMania won't damage Punk. It will only deepen his crusade. He can spiral. He can seek revenge. He can ignite fresh storylines with Roman still at the top. Rollins, similarly, has already proven himself as a consistent main eventer and a beloved champion. His fashion, rather than a strategic progression of character development. Roman is the only one whose loss would interrupt the long arc the company has fought to protect. Another element that demands Roman's victory is the chaotic nature of the triple threat match itself. Triple threats, by design, are unpredictable. They offer protection for whoever loses. You can get pinned and not be weak. But in Roman's case, getting pinned would be catastrophic. After surviving Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar, and even Jey Uso in matches where stakes transcended gold, having him lose in a format designed to dilute blame would be uncharacteristically soft. It would undermine the brutality and dominance that have defined his run. He needs to win not only because of the narrative, but because the structure of the match itself doesn't allow him to fall with dignity. A champion like Roman deserves a downfall that feels biblical, not circumstantial. The betrayal by Paul Heyman also changes the equation. Some might see it as the perfect excuse to justify Roman's loss, but that interpretation misses the depth of the storytelling. A Heyman betrayal should make Roman more dangerous. Stripped of his consigliere, exposed for the first time, Roman should become desperate and violent, reverting to an animalistic champion who fights with nothing but instinct. A man who loses everything and still wins is far more terrifying than one who collapses under betrayal. It's the kind of arc that elevates the mythos of a character. Roman retaining after Heyman turns on him not only keeps him relevant, it evolves him. It takes the tribal chief to a darker, more unpredictable level. Let's also consider the generational impact. Roman Reigns' legacy is beginning to mirror the kind of legendary tenure seen with names like Hulk Hogan, John Cena, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Each of those icons had runs that stretched beyond the normal expiration date of popularity. Cena, for all his criticisms, stayed on top for a decade. Roman's time is still ripe. Ending that run now would be denying him the final phase of true iconography. His career demands a fall worthy of Shakespeare, a betrayal not just from Heyman, but from Solo, from Jimmy, from the very blood that kept him standing. Letting it end before then is a shortcut. It may excite fans for a night, but it costs WWE the emotional payoff of something truly eternal. And what of the world outside WWE? Roman's reach transcends wrestling. He's appeared in major media campaigns, crossed over into pop culture, and carries himself like a champion in the MMA, entertainment, and sports spheres. With Endeavor's goals of pushing WWE into an even broader global spotlight, Roman is the ambassador you want holding your top belt. He looks the part. He speaks with gravitas. He sells the illusion that professional wrestling is still filled with untouchable warriors. Losing that too early would damage more than just TV ratings. It would blur the edges of the brand's global identity. Even the psychology of the audience argues for Roman's win. Fans have become addicted to the slow burn of his dominance. Even those who despise him can't deny the magnetism. He's managed to turn boos into fascination, indifference into ritual hatred, and apathy into anticipation. You can feel the hush in arenas when he walks out. Every movement is intentional. Every glance carries a threat. That's not something you can replicate. If Roman loses now, it ends the best psychological warfare WWE has mastered in the modern era. Fans don't want it to be over. They want it to escalate. They want to see how far Roman will go, how deep he'll descend. You don't pull the plug on that kind of engagement. You stretch it until the final wire snaps. And let's not ignore the unique chemistry this particular triple threat offers. CM Punk, the Rebel; Seth Rollins, the Architect; Roman Reigns, the King. These are three men who represent entirely different ideologies of wrestling greatness, but only one of them has the chance to rule over the others. If Punk wins, it validates his return. If Seth wins, it satisfies the fan base. But if Roman wins, it shatters the expectations of both. And in doing so, it gives WWE more narrative ammo than either of the alternatives. Because when Roman beats both Punk and Rollins, there's nobody left on the roster with a clean slate. That opens the door for new challengers, shocking turns, or a long-awaited rematch with Cody Rhodes that actually has teeth. There's also the weight of legacy on Roman's shoulders. He's held the belt longer than anyone in the modern era. He's beaten multiple generations, but he's never had to survive a match with two world champions simultaneously gunning for him while his own allies disintegrate. If he wins this match, there's no debate left. He becomes the most protected and successful WWE champion in history. And while that may be controversial, it also locks his name into immortality. That's the kind of record that gets talked about 20 years from now. That's what you put in Hall of Fame montages. A man who not only survived every threat, but defeated two of the most popular wrestlers in one night against all odds, while standing alone. Roman's character arc is also still unfolding. We haven't seen the full effect of Solo Sikoa's emerging independence. We don't know if Jimmy Uso will ever fully realign with his brother. The bloodline, fractured as it may be, still has chapters left. It ensures that the next year of storytelling is even more chaotic, even more dramatic, even more necessary. The myth of Roman Reigns can't end in a match with multiple moving parts. It has to end in a singular war. One man, one opponent, one finish. That's how legends fall. That's how icons are immortalized. This triple threat is a test, not a conclusion. It's meant to shake Roman, not destroy him. And if he passes it, it only makes his eventual fall more compelling. When he does lose, it should feel like the world has changed, not like someone capitalized on chaos. This outcome not only elevates Roman, but changes the trajectory of everyone around him. If Punk loses, he spirals, not out of relevance, but deeper into obsession. His feud with Roman becomes something mythic, the kind of sustained hatred that extends beyond belts or pride. It becomes personal in ways only CM Punk can channel. Bitter, sarcastic, unrelenting. A man who thought he'd return to finish his story, only to realize his story is now being written in someone else's blood. It keeps Punk in the fire, but forces him to shift tactics, to destabilize Roman's world, not with matches, but with mind games and mutinies. A victory for Roman ensures Punk's relevance lasts longer than a nostalgia tour. It ignites the slow burn to a final reckoning that's built not on crowd reactions, but on psychological warfare. Seth Rollins, meanwhile, doesn't fade with a loss. In fact, losing in a match of this magnitude only serves to make his eventual return to the championship spotlight more earned. Roman pinning Rollins, after years of Rollins holding that sword of Damocles over Roman's head due to past victories, would finally flip the script. It erases the last piece of Seth's superiority complex and forces him to confront a Roman he can no longer mentally manipulate. That pain and humility, combined with Rollins' popularity and ring excellence, would produce the most sympathetic and dangerous version of Seth we've ever seen. A version that retools his flamboyant swagger into something more calculated, more desperate, more dangerous. Roman's win also preserves something irreplaceable: momentum. For years now, he's been the nucleus around which WWE's most ambitious stories orbit. Whether it's the bloodline drama, Cody Rhodes' pursuit, or the intrigue of part-time megastars returning, Roman gives weight to it all. The second he loses, the gravitational pull that holds those stories together vanishes. You can't transfer that magnitude to someone else overnight. Cody didn't absorb it at WrestleMania 39. Jey Uso didn't take it with him at SummerSlam. Even The Rock, for all his star power, failed to shake the foundation the way Roman does by simply walking into an arena. WrestleMania 41 isn't just another chapter. It's the final exam for WWE's most ambitious character in the last 20 years. Roman Reigns can't walk out of that night broken. He has to walk out with blood on his hands and a haunted look in his eyes. because that's the only way this story can truly reach its epic conclusion.
Damn. Thank y'all for watching. I'm gonna see you on the next one. That was